All right. So the last time we departed from the game, everybody had finally rescued Floon and brought him back to a very broke Volothamp, who had to deal with the party's displeasure in this finding. But he had a trade in return. He had recently acquired a manor in a better neighborhood of Waterdeep and was willing to part with the deed, signing it over to your name. Uh, Not necessarily stated yet. You were offered with the chance to explore said manor first before you got the deal signed over and accepted it as payment due. Once you got there, you found the place in a poor state of appearance. The outside look of the place is a little in need of tender love care. A lot of the windows are barred. The fencing is full of holes. The roofing has a lot of loose latches, though it doesn't look like it's leaking. But upon closer inspection, pardon me, you realize that the place is, however, quite sturdy. The foundation is holding. The frame of the house isn't bending or bowing. Um, and so it may actually be worth it. Most of the uh, changes and repairs would be more aesthetics, with the exception of the windows. Left to explore would be the inside. So you enter in and find yourself into a very large tap room, or what was supposed to be at one point. It looks quite unfinished, and the furniture that's there is a little bit broken. There's a few tables still standing, a few bar stools, some old kegs that you haven't really looked into, but they're pretty large vats. Um, but the place could be promising for some levels. You have the rest of the house to explore. So as you're looking and debating and talking, you're moving forward, and only to find that there might be something more off with this place. As TeaLeaf, away from the group for a second, went to sit down. The bar stool he tried to sit on moved away from him. That's where we left off. So, TeaLeaf, as this happens to you, how do you react?
I attempt to stumble and catch myself. I wasn't exactly expecting that, but thanks to feline reflexes, I'm able to completely not fall ass down on the floor. I take a breath. Did anyone else just see that?
See what?
He looks slowly towards Darius. That chair is far away from me. Do you think I moved that there myself?
Oh, well, perhaps there was a breeze or something.
Or perhaps the building is slanted. Slight incline. When you sat down, your chair just slipped away.
I could have rolled.
Roll.
Perhaps.
Well, that would be handy to put wheels on the bottom of a chair. Why has no one ever thought of that before?
He goes to try to sit down again.
You managed to do so without any problem. As you're all debating and kind of looking around, all of a sudden you hear the clanking of glass. And it seems to come from behind the counter here.
Ack! Someone's here!
Or something. Perhaps it's one of those little fish creatures. And Darius is going to go to hop over the counter.
Hello, is there a bartender here?
She gives you a funny look.
As you both get to the counter, the clinking stops, but the dust on top of the counter starts to move. And traces on it, words appear. And it writes, "Last call."
All right, well, I will have your finest mead.
What's in Persana's name?
Well, clearly there's someone invisible here. It's quite obvious. They're just messing with us. Bartender.
It's way too early for a last call, Ghosty.
Darius, behind the tap room, you see that there's actually a few lined up glass bottles. Some of them have a cork in it, and they seem like they have preserved. They're marked and labeled with various kinds of ale, different flavors of them. You'll see a honey mead. There's one that's maple. There's one that just said spiced ale.
Darius is going to pick up the honeyed ale, since that's thus far what he's had. Hold it up to the group. Sorry,
one of the glass, as you pick it up, flies from under where you're standing and just plops itself onto the counter in front of you.
Oh dear. Could there be some sort of... Is there a spell that can do this?
Well, yes.
Maybe.
There is a spell that can do that. I've seen it done before.
Do you think that, some wizard may have lived here before? Enchanted the place?
Well, it very well could be a wizard. And alternatively, it could be a ghost, but those things are mostly things of myths and legends, from what I understand.
Perhaps. And perhaps not.
Maybe it's just a self-serve bar. Never encountered one of those, but the Yarn Portal is very strange and such, so perhaps this one is strange as well.
I suppose it would be easy enough.
Are you just standing there with the bottle in your hand still?
Yeah. Kind of just holding it, not knowing what to do with it now.
Is it an old bottle, or does it seem fresh?
The bottle is dusty and hard to see through, but it is air sealed. So you get the sense from sloshing the content around that the inside of it could be okay still.
Well, if you're just going to stand there with that, I could have a glass. We've had quite a busy and dangerous time. Sit back and relax. See what the ambiance is like.
You
Yeah.
want to have a drink when things are being moved around us?
Well, if it's a magical self-serve bar, I don't see the problem.
Try giving a command. Maybe it will listen.
All right. Finest mead, please.
Nothing really happens.
Perhaps try pouring it in the glass.
They're all rather dusty. Darius is going to set the bottle down on the counter and pick up a glass, if there is one.
Yes, one was put in front of you
Yes.
by an invisible person.
I'm going to take the corner of my tunic and sort of wipe it out, and then pour the mead into the glass. And
You trust the
Bring it over
glass
here.
that appears out of nowhere?
well, it doesn't appear to be tampered with. Glass is glass, is it not?
It's not necessarily when it floats itself onto a counter and tries to... I don't know. What is it trying?
I think it's trying to get us to have a drink.
I take it this all isn't normal here.
Oh, no. I've never seen anything like this, just magic very similar to it.
As you pour the drink, you get the very familiar scent of you would have picked up at random the spiced ale, and there's a you can't exactly tell which flavor it is, but there is a couple of spices in there that has been added. It doesn't look past due in any way. There's no sign of mold or things like that.
Seems well stocked enough. And fresh, at least.
Cerise is gonna sniff the maple one.
Okay, so you're joining him behind the counter and you're opening a second one?
Yeah.
It smells, you're very familiar with the smell of maple, and it smells like something fresh. It's rather sweet mead. And Darius, are you holding the glass in your hand?
No, I'm putting it on the counter in front of Kag-Ro.
It inches a little bit closer to Kag-Ro.
Well, keep on alert in case it kills me.
As you drink, another glass pops in front of Cerise.
Oh! Oh my.
Well, if it is a ghost, it's a rather polite one.
I don't know if it's a ghost or something magic.
This hatch isn't hidden, is it?
No, it's not hidden. It's very easy to see.
Darius will kneel down to where the hatch is. And say, well, possibly our answers lie down here.
Oh?
There could be something beneath us, working some magic to do this.
Perhaps I should come with you.
Oh yes, your eyesight would be much appreciated down here.
Oh, that's true. But wait a minute. If it's potentially dangerous.
TeaLeaf draws a dagger.
I mean, we've had a rough enough night already, haven't we?
Well, the plan was to come here and rest, which we are definitely not doing.
Exactly.
This is pretty good ale, actually. Quite flavorful. Kag-Ro will finish the rest of it and stand up. Well then, I suppose if we're going to investigate this hatch, we better do it quickly and very cautiously. We could try to sleep here, but, with invisible things serving us ale, I don't know what else invisible things might show up. What if there's invisible villains about?
Yeah, I'm about expecting an invisible dagger to plunge itself into my heart any moment.
Now, let's not be hasty here. We're going to explore a bit here. Perhaps there's some sort of magical apparatus causing all of this. And if we find something, that will surely put our worries to rest, yeah? If not, we know there's something greater at hand.
The hatch opens itself wide, and you see a dark basement linked with a ladder going down.
Oh dear.
Are we sure we want to go down?
You're right. Some of us should go up. We should split up.
That is the
cannot do
worst
that.
idea you've yet said. And bear in mind, a couple of days ago, you multiple times urged us to infiltrate a a facility with boxes.
Perhaps we could use a box now. Put someone in a
God.
box and drop it down the hatch.
Damn it.
Normally, I am all for box-related plans. However, in this case, well, a ghost wouldn't really be tricked by a box, I imagine.
Oh, it would be if it's expecting delivery. What if it's dead, and the reason why it's dead is it had one last shipment of ale that it was missing? Unfinished business and all that.
I suppose it's possible, but it seems rather unlikely.
Oh, yes, I know. I'm actually kidding.
Oh, I see. It's often hard to tell with you surface dwellers.
Yes. We should head down. I will follow up behind. Darius, you seem healthy enough, yes? You can lead the way. No, wait. That's right. Leaf, you can see in the dark.
That
My
I
thoughts
can.
exactly.
I shall head down ahead. Very cautiously and slowly, I'm going to lower myself into the base.
You find yourself into a pretty dark room where you're going to see there's some shelving units against the wall at the back. On there are several kegs. You can count 9 in total, like a 3x3 over top one another. There's a big vat that you can see on the side at a corner. And then there's a little hall that heads to a way, and there's a small room connected to here.
Seems clear so far. Anyone want to join me?
Coming right down, and I'm going to try and slide down the ladder.
T, do a perception, please. No, actually, you're not gathering anything other than what you've seen, and it just smells a bit stuffy in here.
I'm going
So-
to wait for my comrade.
So Darius follows suit, then Cerise after him.
No.
Marla, sorry.
Yep.
Oh, okay. Although if Marla goes down there, then Cerise will kind of sigh nervously and then go down after Marla.
You all get down and you see the exact same thing TeaLeaf has seen.
I'm going to light up a torch.
It just sheds some light on the ale cellar that you can now see a little bit better. As I said, there's a little adjoining room to the left. There seems to be a little hall to the right.
Right. Anyone see anything magic looking? Runes, perhaps, or strange machinery?
Can I explore the wine cellar a bit more?
Yeah, if you get there, it's open. It's not a closed door, so it's wide open. You're gonna see at the lower part there's a very large vat, and when you get close, it kind of stinks of vinegar. And on the wall, the small part, there's shelving units with glass bottles. You can't tell if they're empty or full, but there's a lot of broken glass at the base of it. Part of that wall has kind of collapsed, so that would require some repair on that part.
Just looks like a beat up wine cellar with a vat of vinegar.
So
Vinegar.
that's what that smell was.
Do I know that vinegar is what happens when wine sits too long?
As a halfling, I'd imagine so.
Yeah, I was about to say halflings
I
would know that
hope
kind of
as like the drunk race.
Hmm. Well, I was rather hoping there'd be something. Perhaps upstairs, or...
Seems a little odd to have such a small room in this place and bent off from that one, just big enough for one person to store it down here. He's looking at the area where he's standing.
There's a lot of bags and they're overspilling. You're gonna look over and you're seeing things seems to be kind of safe so far. There's no sign of any kind of infestation, but what you find are bags and bags of spoiled wheat and yeast. And as you lower yourself to kind of get by, it stinks to high heaven.
This is not a pleasant smell. Oh, perhaps you're right. We should probably head back upstairs. There's clearly nothing in here.
The latches upstairs closes as Cerise, you're about to climb up.
Ah!
Cerise, open the hatchback. Why would you close that?
Oh my god.
I didn't close it. It closed itself. Oh dear. She'll try to open it, but I'm doubting that it will.
Well, clearly someone is playing a practical joke on us. All right, we've all had our laugh.
Open it.
Athletics check, please, Cerise.
Sorry, I'm trying to get it out. I always forget that I'm way down at the bottom of the page.
With the 14, you do manage. It takes a couple of tries, though, because you push it a little bit and it seems like you're opening it, and then it closes back. You do it again and it closes back, but the third time seems to be the charm, and whatever keeps closing it back on you sort of gives up.
Let
and
me
you-
out of here!
And as you do so, you hear in a wine cellar clank, and a bottle of wine comes rolling on the floor. Kag-Ro, you're the first one in the door at the opening. It bumps on your feet.
Guess he looks around the corner to see where it came from.
Well, you just see the storage of the wine bottles there.
This is a very slanted place. If there's a creature here, I'm wondering why it has not come out and revealed itself. It rather just pretends to hide and does not visit. If it meant us ill intent, don't you believe it would have attacked by now? Hello, creature? Are you around?
It may be tormenting us
With wine bottles.
with moving chairs, offerings, locking us in the basement.
What if there are more than one?
Could I use Divine Sense?
Of course you may. Usually it's evil. So the smell you get isn't really one of rot. It's almost just like, you know how a closed space made all of wood can smell if it doesn't get aired for too long. So you get a little bit of that sense. And it becomes clear that there is indeed the presence of an undead being in the house. You can only count the one.
Yes. This place does bear the stench of undeath about it. Though weak.
I'm sorry.
Oh no.
Can you not smell it?
I'm gonna sniff. Do I feel like I smell undead?
You can do a perception roll, please.
Alright.
May I also get in on this just for shits and giggles?
Of course.
Oh, probably not. I still have maple ale in my nose.
Yep, you're unable to get past that. There's just that remnant staying by. T, now that your nose is opened up, something does stink and it smells a little bit rotting. You can play it however you want to see if you would tell, but what you're actually smelling is the rotting wheat in the corner. But you're just realizing the odor is there.
TeaLeaf doesn't really say anything and just kind of locks up, totally by.
If you do think there are undead here, I really do think we should leave. I've got this hatch back open.
Right. Up it with all haste, then. Though, I think we should get to the bottom of exactly what's going on before we leave. Thus
we are
far,
at the bottom.
well, to the top of it, then. We haven't been attacked as of yet.
Is there anything particularly reminiscent of it, or all the bottles say leaves?
All of them say Lif's red wine.
They carry only one kind of wine by the looks of it. Lifts, he says, and shows the repaired bottle to the others who might be leaving.
Does the name Lift ring a bell in any way?
You can roll a history check to see.
Oh dear.
No, you've never heard of any of that. You're not very into the wine scene.
It wasn't made by Liren, so it's clearly not the best.
Right.
Perhaps Lift is dead, and that's the reason why. That just isn't the best. Perhaps it could have been the best, but Lift died before it was done.
By the way, you said you were mending something. What are you mending?
So I was mending some of the broken bottles.
You'd be able to use that spell for a few of them. Those that are shattered, you can't really use mending unless you have a lot of time on your hand. Because it won't pick them up and put them together. So you'd have to hold every piece together to mend them. If there's a couple of bottles broken mostly in two, you'd be able to mend those together.
They're all lifts, right?
They are. Roll a perception. Nope, you missed that.
Oh well, I suppose Lift doesn't want us to leave for some reason, but if you guys prefer to leave, I suppose we should.
We should at least get somewhere with more light.
Yes, I can agree with that. And I imagine Liff was simply a wine cellar. He most likely sold to this house, so. Any of you recognize the name?
Nope.
Anyone other than Cerise?
No, I know nothing of any sort of Lift. I'm not exactly a wine connoisseur. In fact, I don't drink that much, to be honest.
None of you have ever heard of Liff. For Marla and T, you've been on a few taverns here and there, and you've never even heard of Liff's red wine.
That's all my time at the
A lot of taverns.
Darius, however, you do remember you have met an acolyte at one of the towers that had that name. No longer works there, though. One of the wizard apprentice.
I do recall the name. I know nothing of wine selling, or whether he's involved, but there was a wizard's apprentice back at the tower by the name of Liff. He parted from there some time.
And settled down in Waterdeep to become a winemaker. That's a strange thing to do after being in a tower.
Perhaps.
Oh, the tower is actually very well known in Waterdeep. It is the place where wizards go to learn. It is a pillar, actually not that far from the Colosseum in the Seaward. That's where the Blackstaff is, and that is a major monument inside of the city.
Still an odd choice. Oh, then, I suppose we should head back up, yes? Go back to where there's more light, as we've been suggested.
Aye.
So you're all able to get out of there without any big problem.
I forget
Well.
what this big thing is here. What is that?
Hmm?
What is that?
That would be a fireplace.
Kag-Ro leans down and sees if there's any wood in the fire that's burnable.
Most of it is burned to ash and is mostly charcoal pieces. But looking around, there's a lot of broken furniture that could be used.
I was going to say, if there's a broken furniture, he's going to smash some, but he'll grab some of the broken furniture and toss it in and start a fire, or try to. I have a flint and tinder, I think so.
If you have a flint and tinder, it wouldn't be a problem to start a fire in the fireplace.
I left mine at home.
Doesn't prestidigitation do that, or do you not have that?
I'm not a wizard.
Someone has sacred flame.
Bards have it, I thought.
Some bards, but I have 2 cantrips at the moment, and both of them are occupied.
Okay, yeah, that's what I was asking. Does sacred flame count as fire, though?
No, it's radiant damage.
That's what I thought.
I tried to use it as an actual flame once.
Darius, Darius, can I borrow your torch?
Unfortunately, friend, I put it out before coming up. I have my tinderbox on me, however.
Oh, then perhaps you could light the fire. A little bit of light in this place will bring a much more happy environment.
As you set the fire, I see that Marla has entered the pantry. You find stocks and shelves of spoiled food of all kinds, mostly vegetables, fruits, lots and lots of wheat. There seems to be flour bags that are opened and spilled, and none of it is good anymore. And there seems to be a door with a bell there that's connected to the outside. It looks very much like a standard service door.
I'd like to continue into the kitchen.
Okay. Again, there's no actual door that closes. It's a door frame. You enter, you find a long table with 8 seats around it. There's another fireplace there. There's an old chandelier that could definitely use some shining, but otherwise it's in good condition. A few windows light the place up. Not by much, because at this point you are under moonlight. But the place is in fair order. There's a few cobwebs in a corner, lots of dust. Nothing all that noteworthy.
All right, so
Is
I
that
know
a giant stove?
Is that a pardon?
Yeah. Is that a giant oven in the back?
It's a fireplace that has a slit that could be used as one of those stone ovens.
Perfect.
She's gonna cook herself.
No.
No, but Cerise is gonna make pies in there.
We can get rid of the ghost.
Right.
Alright, so I know that beforehand you all said that splitting up was a foolish idea. And I'm not going to advocate for it again. However, we do need to spread out a bit, I think. Search this place.
You said there was only one undead, yes?
I only detected the presence of one, at least.
Well, I suppose I could explore the upper floors and scream really loudly. Good, I'm quite loud if I wish to be.
If we all go upstairs together and search that floor, and then proceed up the building, at very least, we might be able to find the source of this haunting. And hopefully put it to rest.
Is that what you want to do? I don't know much about your holy orders. Is that what you do? Put undead to rest?
If it is necessary.
Well, is it necessary? It seems that this ghost just wants us to drink.
And hold down the hatch to the basement on top of us.
And make me fall on my ass.
Sounds like it's got a sense of humor.
I don't think that's very funny.
Either way, I believe we should find out what is happening here before we make any judgment calls on whether to keep the ghost around or help it move on to the great hereafter.
Well, we do have to wait till morning if we wish to take the deed anyway and repair this place. Might as well take a look around.
Indeed. I do not want to be too hasty in my judgments, but I do not think the spirit wishes us harm. I could be wrong.
Yeah.
Well, that is excellent, and I have no worries about wandering about. The reassurance is great. Is that a window or a door?
Most of them are windows, except that seems to be yet another door.
Is it a door that would obviously lead outside, or does it seem like it would not obviously lead outside?
There's a window in the door, so you'd be able to say you end up back on the front porch.
I don't know about you, but I don't even see a way up.
That's
But what?
strange.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear it right.
Said I don't know about you, but I'm not sure if I even see a way that goes up.
That's rather strange. I'm certain from the outside we could see the second floor.
You would have noticed that when you approach the room. The stairs are quite visible at an angle from there. So you know that to access the second floor, there's definitely a staircase outside. After a quick exploration indoors, you notice that there is absolutely no way to go upstairs from this room, from the tap room. It's clear you have to go out and around.
Well, I suppose we'll have to go out and around. Anyone accompany me?
Well, maybe we won't have to split up after all then.
Yes, lead the way.
I was gonna go out this door. Would you rather go out that door?
A door is a door is a door.
That seems further.
Might as well check that door as well. I didn't see that one. Oh, look, this is a pantry of some sort.
You end up in this. The back of the house has a little fence. You have less than 10 feet between the door and the fence, and it's just a dirt path that kind of goes around. So there's not really a backyard to this place. It just seems to go around and to the front, which would make it easy for you to receive any kind of delivery. So it's just wide enough to have a wagon drive by.
We should grow things back here.
Not very much room, is there?
I feel like this is actually longer, but we'll go with you.
To here?
Look, it is a door.
So you go upstairs and you find yourself at a door very similar to the entrance door. There's a little window in there so you can see inside, but not very much because it's very dusty and there's a couple of boards on it, making it that you have to kind of squint between the two. You don't see any sign of movement. It's very, very dark in there.
Is the door unlocked?
Yes.
What use are my door unlocking skills?
Or mine, for that
Oh.
matter.
Don't worry, we can lock it for you if you wish.
All the doors are unlocked.
Well, we do have the key.
So you walk in and you find yourself in a large room that has a small fireplace once again. There's these old, very well cushioned chairs, and there's a sofa that's laid, a couple of tables kind of tipped on their side. The sofa, however, is ripped, so would need some repairs. And there's kind of like the foam and wool packed inside, spreading out. More cobwebs in this place. It's kind of hard to see. You see two doors leading on each side and a very large window that kind of leads to the backyard.
Well, I can check the north door and see where it goes.
I will check the other door.
North door? Oh.
Is this door unlocked too?
Yep, the doors are not locked inside. There's no sign that you even can at this point. Once you walk in here, for Kag-Ro first, you walk into this big place that has like a tower side with basically nothing but window. A few chairs are standing here. There's a desk with a chair close to it, and it looks kind of bare. There's an empty bookcase, almost as if this room wasn't really finished. The door there is, again, has glass that's boarded from the outside, seems to lead on some kind of balcony. The balcony is in good state for the floor, but the railing of it is just is missing boards and needs a fresh coat of paint, so it's not very safe. Marla, you step into what looks like a very large hall that has a big window. There's an L-shaped stairs going up, and from there you can see yet one more door.
All right, but what about the other door?
What other door?
This one on the other side of the hall.
Yeah, this door, as you go, once again, sorry, it's unlocked, but there is a lock on it. As you enter, all there is a simple small table with a one-person bed on it. There's a small door to the side that leads to a small balcony that's in the same state as the other. Lots of board missing. The floor is there. This one has one of the boards that's squeaking loudly if you try to step out. And it needs some paint on the outdoors. The room is very, very dusty. There's a very, very small fireplace. But it's very simple in how it is.
Is it the kind of fireplace that opens up to the other side?
You can do an investigation check. It's as simple a fireplace as you've ever seen. I mean, it doesn't have any traps of any kind.
I wanted to crawl through the other side.
Kag-Ro tries this door and will open it if it opens and looks in.
You find yourself in a larger bedroom that's connected directly to what would be the den. Big double bed is there. There's a dresser, closed chest, wooden chest, a few tables next to the bed. So the place is not very well decorated. It looks as if the person who lived here, from everything you're seeing, never really got the chance to finish up what they wanted to do with the place. Either that or the furniture, most of the decor was moved out already.
Leaf, I found a bedroom. Seems to be some boxes and a dresser. Maybe we could learn some little bit about this place. It's unfinished as best I can tell, however. And Kag-Ro starts opening drawers and chests and everything that's openable in the room.
TeaLeaf is going to join him.
Darius, Cerise, and Marla, can you please roll a perception check?
Okay.
As you open any drawer and chest, you find them all empty, but everything but dust and cobweb. Marla, as everyone is kind of just looking about the window, you kind of have more of a habit to look in all the dimensions, including up, and you realize that the webs have been moved, and they spell taproom on the ceiling.
We know it's a tap room.
What?
What?
What good does that do me?
What are you on about? Did you find
And I
something?
gesture wildly at the ceiling.
Do we see it when she gestures, or does it just look like
Yes.
she's wait? Tap room. Back downstairs, quick! And Darius is going to rush back towards the stairs to try and get to the tap room.
What? Huh? Oh dear.
I'm gonna call out to Kag-Ro and TeaLeaf.
Yeah, I was
and
just
tell them
thinking
to
this.
join us. And I'm also going to run downstairs with Darius.
Given you are on the other side of the wall and TeaLeaf has pretty good hearing, you sort of hear them scream. TeaLeaf, you can roll a perception to see if you hear what they said. If not, you just know that they yelled at you.
Oh dear.
What is with tonight's rolls, man?
No.
We're gonna die.
TeaLeaf hears screaming, but not much, draws a dagger. Something's happening. And just bursts out the door.
Oh, well, we should probably go then. I'll follow after him with his chains ready.
As Darius, Cerise, and Marla are first to reach there, because you guys have to kind of go around. The only way to get in that bedroom is through that small hall, through the den, and so on. You guys find the tap room. The chairs, all the chairs that were not broken and still in good shape, were turned back up and placed. And all of the glasses that were in the bar are now on the bar, kind of sprayed around. There's a cloth, an old dusty cloth on top, close to the corner, and all 3 bottles of ale that were still good are now sitting among the glasses, all 3 of them open.
I told you he wanted us to drink.
I'm still not drinking that, but what do you want, Mr. or Mrs. or other?
For us to drink, obviously.
But why?
Not drinking random who knows how old ale out of random glasses that just appeared.
It's actually quite good ale. The glass I had before was very smooth, great flavor with hints of spice. I would definitely recommend it if you were to open a tavern.
A lot of poisons also taste good too.
How would you know? Do you drink a lot of poisons?
No.
Well, then how do you know that poisons taste good?
I have been told of some that taste
Well, how
good.
can anyone get someone to drink poison if it tasted bad?
Exactly.
Perhaps. And this is a wild guess, but perhaps the ghost does want us to drink. Perhaps, do you think a brewer may have lived here? Perhaps he wants to know which of his, or her, or its, or their concoctions are best. Although I suppose it's rather a shot in the dark.
One of the bottle pours down, and a glass is kind of hovering in front of Darius.
Oh, maybe not. Perhaps that's correct. Well, not to do but drink then in that case, yes?
TeaLeaf is going to elbow Darius a little bit and nod towards the floor, where it again is writing tap room in the, or whatever the DM.
Yes, I can, but we're already here.
I don't. Wait, did this happen? What? You seem like this is normal.
We ran down here because there was a message upstairs that said tap room.
In the cobwebs.
Oh boy.
Normal things don't leave messages in cobwebs and dust.
Maybe it's a spider ghost.
Kag-Ro, you start to feel a little bit dizzy. However, you don't feel poisoned per se. You've been drunk before.
Oh, this is very good. I should have another. That seems like a good decision on this adventure. And then he drinks another one.
Does this seem like he got drunk abnormally fast?
Well, you're asking if he just downed like a glass. Those are not shotgun glasses, but
second one. And it's just ale.
And he's 8 feet tall, right?
More than that, and he's huge.
He does not strike me as a cheap date.
I'm gonna go to drink the glass that was hovering in front of me.
Yes, come join me, Darius. Let us drink and talk about our exploits today. Maybe we can perhaps speak of the fishmonger circle.
As you drink, Kag-Ro, the glass you drank, and then another one had been poured in front of you, and that's the other one you had. Darius, the drink you get is actually really tasty, and it goes down very smoothly. But it doesn't continue on. You hear some clinking and clanking from downstairs. Cerise, you get surprised from where you're standing as the latch opens back up, and a bottle of wine just starts to hover and starts to cork itself open and pours into the glasses close to where Darius and Kag-Ro are.
You know, I think we might have been wrong about this ghost. Maybe it simply stayed here to do what it loved.
Well, that's what I suggested. I thought it might just like being a bartender. Once everybody to drink and have a good time. So why not drink and have a good time? I mean, we've had a very, very rough day.
I lost half the fur on my face.
Here, have a drink.
I would rather not risk it, Kag-Ro. I'll be fine. You.
Doesn't it hurt?
It hurts a lot, yes. I'd rather not drown it out in wine. I like knowing I'm in pain.
Oh, I don't know. It's pretty good stuff. It'll put hair on your toe.
Ah, see, it might be magical brew. It might put hair on the chest.
Do you guys drink the wine?
No,
Yeah.
I don't.
No.
I am
It's
passing.
no Lyran's bet.
Might as well. What's the worst that could happen? Thus far, thus good.
It's not hallucinogenic, so it's not good for half.
Darius, as you drink the wine, you get the normal warmth in your throat. At this point, you're like, what, 3 drinks down?
Yeah, about 3.
Okay, do a con save. But this one isn't as flavorful as the ale. It's the red wine isn't bad, but it's just a little flat. Like it's missing something. And with the 10, you're fine now, but you already start to get the sense that once it really kicks in, you're going to start to feel just a little bit of it start to get to you. His drink in here are actually fairly potent.
I think the wine may have gone a little sour. Not to say it's bad, but
Do a dexterity
was
saving
certainly-
throw, please.
oh no.
It did smell like vinegar down there.
A glass comes up from the bar very quickly in a flash, just flies at you and crashes on the side of your head, and you take 1 point of bludgeoning damage.
That wasn't very nice. No wonder you went out of business.
Ah, it's constructive criticism.
I don't think he likes you insulting his alcohol.
Oh dear.
I did say that the ale was very good. I simply said that the wine may have been sitting down there a bit too long, not that it was bad.
Kag-Ro looks at the bottles of ale and sees if it's Lif's ale.
It does. But it doesn't say Lift's Ale. It says Lift's Spice Ale, Lift's Maple Ale. The other one just says Lift's, and the rest of it's kind of washed out, so you're not sure what it is. But you smell some honey, so you get the sense it might be mead or something like that. And Darius, as you kind of gave your explanation, there was a pause, but then the cloth that's on the tap room just kind of sheepishly starts to hover at you and just hovers in front of you.
Oh no, it's good. It's good. It's very good.
The cloth falls to the ground.
Well, I'm pretty certain at this point that this must have been Lif's tap room. All of the alcohol is Lif's. They have no other kind.
As you say that, the room starts banging very loudly. May actually startle some of you with that are easily nerved. And all the glass, not at the same time, and Sing just starts to lift and go down, like up, down, and it just goes bang, 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 almost like it's clapping.
Ah, so the ghost's name is Lif. I'm assuming you're not able to speak? Only write?
The bar does it again.
Stop! Don't give it so much encouragement.
But charades! This sounds like fun. Alright, you can understand us, but we can't understand you. Clearly you want something. Is it just for us to drink? As he looks in no general direction.
Nothing happens.
Are you the lift that I knew from the tower?
Glass comes crashing next to your head. It misses very much, so you get a sense it wasn't aiming directly at your head.
Can we establish some sort of yes and no? Like, you bang a glass on the counter once for yes and twice for no?
It will bang a glass on the counter.
Thank you. No more hurting my companions.
Yeah, but it
It
only did it
bangs
once.
it on the counter twice.
Oh, okay, twice.
It was twice no or yes.
Twice was no.
Oh, I thought it was yes. Now
One
I'm
of the
confused.
glasses fall on the floor.
I don't want to have to figure out how to hurt you.
No, don't threaten the fellow. He's just a bartender. I'm wondering what the reason is, though. Let's see. Were you murdered?
The glass, one of the remaining glass bangs twice on the counter.
Was twice yes or no?
No.
Twice was no.
Were you murdered?
What I said.
Again, it bangs on the counter twice.
Is your body present here?
It bangs on the counter twice.
Do you want to move on to the afterlife?
It bangs on the counter twice.
Hmm.
Do you want to keep running your tap room?
The glass hovers for a minute, and it seems to go from Kag-Ro to Marla to Kag-Ro to Marla, and it just goes down once.
Do you know Volothan in any way?
It bumps it once on the counter. And
So
then
he
a
did know.
big gust of wind kind of blows a lot of dust, and all of you are stuck with some dust in your nose and kind of have a bit of a cough for a minute.
I suppose that's a big yes. And I suppose he doesn't like it as much as we do.
He
Say very
sneezes.
much from the start.
Do you realize that no one will come to your tap room when it looks like this?
It bangs the glass on the counter once.
So why do you keep throwing things at people?
Nothing happens.
That's not a yes or no question.
Would you perhaps find it amicable to allow us to fix this place up?
It bangs it on the counter repeatedly, very quickly.
I think that's a hell yes.
Well, I suppose then our goals are in alignment.
Yes, we are the ones that Volothan was going to give us this place as reward because he's broke and doesn't have any money. But I suppose if we have a friendly bartender, do you need pay? Or is the job itself satisfactory?
It
That's
bangs on
two
the counter 3 times.
Yes, yes, yes.
Or yes, no?
Me.
Or no yes.
Maybe we should simplify the questions.
Yes.
It bangs on the counter once.
Would it be okay if we took over the establishment?
Marla, do a dex saving throw.
Oh dear.
A glass comes flying at your head. You were kind of half expecting it when you whispered to Cerise, and it just crashes behind you after your comment.
Ha!
Lilith, if you want us to take over this establishment and help clean it up, You must have recipes for your ale. Eventually it would run out, yes?
He taps once on the counter. There's a pause and it taps again. The door to the pantry leading outside opens.
So we'd be able to reproduce it. And mind you, I haven't tried your wine, but perhaps we could work together and create a much better wine that would sell for far more money, and bring much more happy patrons here.
It empties one of the wine glass on top of your head.
I said work
Wait,
together.
what did he suggest doing before that happened?
He suggested asking him to work together to improve the wine.
He seems to be
Oh.
rather protective of his wine.
Perhaps we can sell your rather fine vinegar instead.
Again, Marla, do another dex save.
Oh dear.
Kag-Ro is going to just take the wine, wipe the wine off his face, and walk over to the pantry to look for this recipe of his.
Marla is now drenched in a concoction of mead, ale, and wine.
You know, that's very wasteful.
Yes. Do
If
you
you keep
realize
angering me-
how much product you're actually losing just in reprimanding us?
Yes,
The place is quiet except for you talking.
If you keep angering the ghost, we're quickly going to run out of glasses.
I'm trying
Not
to.
to mention how he scares off customers by throwing things at them.
Yes, about
Yeah.
that. Do you think, and Taff once more in answer, do you think perhaps if we were to fix this place up for you and bring you more customers to sample your delicious brews, you would be willing to be a bit more friendly towards them?
There's a pause and then a tap on the counter.
Well,
Does that mean no?
That means yes.
yes,
It's
one
willing
is.
to be amiable.
Well, sounds like we can all benefit here.
Kag-Ro starts looking around the pantry to see if he can find this recipe. A little help, perhaps.
The pantry door slams shut and then reopen.
The one to the outside.
Yes, the one you're standing next to.
Darius jumps when it slams, but he'll then step outside and look around.
Oh, we're following a trail. That makes sense.
Yes, it had opened a while ago, so that's why he slammed it shut and then reopened it.
I thought there was a door here. That was my misunderstanding.
There are no doors anywhere.
Right then. Keep our eyes, ears, and possibly nose, maybe, open for any signs that it may leave.
You hear the door to the second floor creak open.
You know, he just sent us down here and asked us to just go back up. Okay. All right, then.
Onwards and upwards.
Once you reach the common room, the door to the hall is opened.
Get further up then.
Kag-Ro, if you go upstairs, you find yourself in a place that has yet another staircase leading up. There's a few doors and halls here. Nothing seems to be open per se. There's other windows that lead to the front of the place. They're all barred. From the outside, sadly, you'd have to climb a ladder to unbar them. So you'd have to explore this place a bit. You hear doors upstairs open.
I suppose he's trying to lead us up, so let's go that way. Kag-Ro's apparently going to take the door that everybody else is not taking.
How high up does this building reach?
Well, it's at least 3 floors, but this is the 3rd one. Did we see 4 or 5 on the outside?
You reach what is obviously the last floor. It's a segment of the place that's a little attic, like a little added rooftop. Here, the ceilings are where you are. You're fine, Kag-Ro, but once you open a door, which the door to your right is the one that's already open, you enter there, and the ceiling is slanted, so you'd have to crouch a bit to walk. Darius, with your helmet, you'd have the same issues. Both girls and TeaLeafs would be fine. You go in here, you find some crates and an old trunk that's in the center, and it's opened. Inside, you find a journal.
Oh, look, it's a journal. I'm betting this will explain to us what happened. Opens up the journal and reads the first few pages.
It's
Does he read out loud?
not like a diary. It is literally it says list of recipes, and you find a lot of pages are kind of just scratched through as if they were attempts that fail. And there's a bunch of recipes in there, but you have to go through a lot of failed recipes to get to good ones.
Perhaps you would make more sense of this, Cerise. This is sort of a foreign language to me. What is a liter and a quart, and what is a cup? And he hands Cerise the recipe book.
Oh.
I believe they measure space.
Like where the stars are? That seems to be a strange thing to put in a journal.
Cerise, you're actually able to read this very easily. You've seen those before. You've made drinks of your own at the pie shop. And you find several types of ale drinks with all the amount of time it needs to I forgot the word for it, but it has to stay. So the amount of time it needs to ferment. Thank you. And same with the wine. So there's just the wine, and there's a question mark at the bottom of the wine page, like last ingredient is missing. Doesn't seem to know what he wanted to put there. But reading that, you think you might actually be able to figure out how to improve on that, or what the missing ingredients could be to make different kinds of wine with his as a base.
Oh.
Well, what is it? Does it contain the recipes then?
Yeah, Kag-Ro had mentioned that out loud, I think, before passing it to Cerise.
I did.
Oh.
Then we have what we need to succeed.
Well, we have the recipes. Do we have the equipment?
I imagine so. I mean, they had lots of kegs downstairs. And we have Cerise, of course. Best pie maker in the world. Of course she could make better wines and foods and all sorts of other things.
No, she cannot make better wines and foods. She can simply make as good of wine as Liv.
Oh, yes.
And put Lif's name on it to give him credit for the recipe. She says rather loudly.
That would be a very good idea. We could call the new wine that when you perfect it, Liv's epitaph.
There's a single sconce in this room, and as Cerise says that out loud, it lights up and makes it easier for everybody to see.
Well, it can start fires, which is disconcerting.
I don't think it has much interest in burning its own place down.
If it did, I'm sure that Liv would probably have done it a long time ago.
Well, either way, I imagine this place will be safe to sleep in for the night, at least. Clean enough to do so, however. It might be another story.
Oh, don't worry about that.
A well outside?
Yes,
Yes, there would be one on the side. It's a small personal place, but it's a pump well.
Yeah, it'd be hard to get the water to make your, wine with and stuff. If not,
Kag-Ro, as you followed a new trail up open door, you end up in a bedroom that's has yet again a small fireplace. This one has a single bed that's standing just in front of the fireplace. It's kind of small, lies on the side, and there's a little door that opens, and you find a big wooden bath there. Um, there's actually a pump in the wall, and you can see a bucket at the base. There's some form of plumbing that's working in this place. You'd be able to fill in the bath by pumping it, and you can see there's a kind of a switch at the bottom of the bathtub that would reopen it with some piping leading back to the outside.
I guess I'll try the water to see if it works.
It gurgles and it sounds echo for a bit, so you have to pump for a few times, and then it starts to spew out. The first bit of water that comes out is a little yellowish because it was stuck in a pipe for a while, but then it clears really quickly and it starts to pour into the bathtub.
I will mend any cracks or breaks in the piping or the bath. Hey, look, there's a bath, as he hears other people coming in behind him. And it has working water. I have not seen working water in a house before.
oh wow!
Wow, that's all. Wow.
Why wouldn't the water work?
It's complicated machinery. I don't understand it myself, but usually we have to go get pitchers of water, or, well, technically the pages do that for those who work in my industry. But still, we do have to usually do it. There's a bath here, though, if we need to do one. And while he's doing that, he'll just take some of the clean water out of the faucet and wipe off the sticky. And Marla, if you want to quickly rinse off.
Dad like new clothes, but I'll try with the rinsing.
I don't think Liv has halfling clothes.
I don't imagine he would.
Speaking of Liv, at least we know now that he's not trying to kill us. So perhaps we could stay the night.
It just occurred to me that if Liv can be invisible and not anywhere in the house, taking a bath here would not be very private, now would it?
You don't hear any sound or echo as everybody kind of registers what you add to it. At this point, do I take that the people are agreeing to basically take the manor?
Kag-Ro is going to wander around and look for a bed big enough to support him. Because he's very tired and he's very worn out. And Liv is not trying to kill him, so he's getting more tired as this thing goes.
Darius is pretty much going to do the same, but first I'll just announce. Well, seems we have that all straightened out. Shall we all find a bed for the night?
Yes. I'm thinking that we probably should. I'm quite exhausted after this endeavor. This place seems well enough, and Liv seems friendly, a little bit, rough around the edges, but what bartender is not a little rough.
It just comes down to finding a proper, less chewed through, less dusty bed.
All the beds you're going to find are really dusty, so they need a good shake, but because they have some linen on top, you'd be able to shake most of the dust off. The springs might poke at you a little bit, but they're not in bad shape for the most part, and most of it could be easily fixed. Kag-Ro, you are in the room that has a double bed. It's no bigger than the other one you saw before. This one has a little bit more room in terms of the chamber itself, but doesn't have access to a balcony, however. You have two big windows and access to another room that has a bath in a similar way with running water. You'll cross 2 privies here, which are basically toilet rooms, also with access to plumbing. For Waterdeep, that is not that uncommon for people in the more fancy district, though running water is something very, very rarely seen in Toril. Only a few places tend to have the proper gear for it. It's all manual and all works with pumps, but it is there, so it is something of fascination for most people who haven't been around rich houses. Inns don't have that. They still work with basically the closest thing would be a pulley system bringing water to your bedroom window or the bathroom window. It still works with chamber pots, and they have arrangement that people go and empty it in the morning. This place seems to have everything that you can completely bypass that. There's other rooms. You'll see close to the room that you were in. There's a very small bedroom in the corner, but that one has a 25 feet ceiling that's basically a turret top. And there's a ladder that allows you to climb there, and it gives like a little balcony. It has a very small bed, looks like it's fit for a child or a halfling. So that's also an option if one of you wanted to have that. So you're each able to get the bedroom you want, unless there is some squabble.
Kag-Ro will try to look for the room with the most physical space, because he's bigger than everyone else.
Like I said, the one you have there or the room below that's directly underneath would be the two biggest.
I think he'll just stay here since it's here anyway. And there's a bathtub here.
I love it.
Now you have to rename all of the rooms with our names instead of just general names.
I was planning on it.
Going to sleep in the turret.
So Darius, you taking the small spare room? You want something basically just simple?
Yes, for now, okay. Oh. Yeah, I'll take that. It has access to a balcony and a fireplace, which is all I really need. And I'll just steal someone else's bath from time to time.
Marla has a turret.
Yeah, Darius can just take the big bedroom if. Oh,
That's right, there's an attic bedroom.
Marlo Cerise is like, if you need anything for any reason, just let me know. I'll be right here.
I'm really close. It's okay. Just scream if you need me.
Okay, thank you.
I don't suppose Kag-Ro can hear any of this.
No, they have closed door and everything. You might hear that they're talking, but you can't hear what they're saying. T, you're the only one that I'm not sure where you're at.
he's not sure where he's going either. He's been pacing back and forth between the attic and the other bedroom for a while, but he finally decides on this bedroom down.
Okay. So
But
you could turn the attic into something else or use it as like a guest room or something of the kind.
Oh, you never know. Maybe eventually we'll have another group member that comes along. It's best to keep it open, right?
I don't know how that would possibly happen. But it's always possible. Now, as I said, Kag-Ro goes and after he spends about an hour or so mending and cleaning the room a bit, then he plops down on the bed and passes out from a slightly alcohol-induced sleep.
Darius is going to attempt to clean his room as much as he can and set his things down for the night. Then he's going to go upstairs and knock at Cerise's door.
Yes, who is it?
Cerise, you are taking this room, yes?
Yes.
Mine is lacking a bath. I need to use yours.
Oh, of course.
Ah, perfect. And if the door is not
She-
locked, he then opens it himself.
Oh dear. Hello. Yeah, go ahead. She's like
Thank
actually
you.
still totally dressed and still wearing her armor, just kind of sitting on the bed looking nervous.
Darius is only in his tunic at this point.
Oh my.
Alright, I'll let you know when I'm coming out. Do you need
the
to
door-
use it, perhaps?
Closes itself behind you.
Liff is like, you people.
Liff is looking out for you, dude.
And yeah, he's just going to take his time bathing in there. Probably singing a little too.
Oh. What's he singing about?
Various sea shanties. Although they're all in primordial.
Oh. I wonder what that sounds like.
He would be able to understand them.
Oh dear, I gotta come up with sea shanties on the fly.
Row your boat.
All hail the mighty, he's arisen from the deep.
Oh.
With tattered sails and incredible tales upon an endless sea.
I love it.
TeaLeaf chuckles to himself, his ears flickering as he takes off his armor.
I have no idea what he's singing about, but I'm pretty amused that fish people also sing in the bath.
When I have completed my bath and dressed once more in the same clothes, unfortunately, but still, I will drain it, step out, and bow to Cerise and say, "My thanks for your time."
Of course. She's still sitting on the bed, still completely dressed. She's been looking at the recipe book.
Well, perhaps I should have left it full for your use. Either way.
No, that's fine. I could make my own if I want.
Well, if you're certain, I'll be sure not to drain it next time, though.
No, that's fine.
Good night, Cerise.
Good
Sleep well.
night.
So you're all able to spend the night with your routine, get the benefits of a long night's rest. You're not really bothered all that much. Cerise, the most disturbing things you might see is that once you finally do go to bed, whether you doffed your armor or decided to have a difficult sleep with it on, you got tucked in. And for the rest, everything is fairly calm and quiet. You hear a few creaks and crackings in the house. It's made of wood, it's age, it's normal. You would have heard on one or twice. Liff being busy in the tap room downstairs, a few clinking and clanking, but otherwise it doesn't seem to be disturbing the lot of you more than that. And yes, Jake, that wouldn't be surprising at some point. And you're just waking up as the sun starts to rise, or perhaps for those of you who are later, as the sun comes up very high in the sky. What time do you usually wake?
Dawn, and when the sun has just risen, early, of course.
Tea is also an early rise.
Kag-Ro usually gets up right reasonably early, but today, because he's been drinking and he's very tired from the fight we had before, Kag-Ro will sleep till 10.
Marla is a solid 10-hour sleeper, so it kind of depends on when she went to sleep, but it'll be at least 10 hours later.
So you'd wake up closer to lunchtime.
Yes.
Both Kag-Ro and Darius will be sporting a lovely headache from the alcohol they both drank the day before.
In that case, he'll probably stay in bed for a while longer.
I feel like Cerise is used to getting up pretty early to start making pie, but also there's that whole phenomenon of when you're sleeping somewhere you're not used to. Sometimes you wake up more than you would, and especially since she's pretty scared, I bet she would wake up really early.
So you wake up early. So Cerise and T, you'd be the first people in either the common room or the tap room, depending on where you go first.
Probably the common room for me. It's right on the way out of my room.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
I think she might go down to the common room to see if anyone else is up.
Okay,
So-
you'd have to cross it to go down anyways. You'd cross TeaLeaf there.
Oh, good morning.
Oh, morning, Cerise. He is already fully armored and geared.
I haven't seen anyone else yet, have you?
No, it's still quite early, and there were a few drinks going around last.
Oh, that's true. I suppose I'm used to getting up early to make pie, but
I'm used to getting up early to put arrows in things, so
You may notice, Cerise, at this point that the leaves, wherever he had lost his fur, there's a nice little peach fuzz that really is starting to show. Now you can see the normal fur color showing all over the skin, and it's no longer completely bald.
your fur's growing back. See, I told you it'd be just like Glory.
he pats his face a few times, and you can just see his shoulders slump in relief. His eyes shut, and he just... Starting the morning off strong. Thank you, sir.
I'm glad to help. So I'm torn because I kind of want to go look in the kitchen, but I kind of don't want to go down there. She looks real sheepish.
The worst that will happen is that he will pour a drink on you. I will go with you if you wish.
I don't suppose it's likely that there's anything left that's even, what's the word I'm looking for? Usable anymore.
Perhaps. He seems kind of distant and spaced out.
When you get to the pantry, you can always run an investigation check.
You're probably right. I'll just go down there and look. It'll probably be okay.
I'll come with. I have nothing to do anyway. At least not yet.
About 10:30, if everybody is able to hear it, you'll start to hear the bath in the room that Kag-Ro is staying on turn on. And he's going to take his time and sort of clean himself off and take a nice long bath and put on some fresh new clothes from his bag, but not his armor. He's going to keep his armor at hand with him. And you'll see, and he'll put on his nice silk robes and such for his more loungewear sort of thing. And he'll let out a sigh of relief as he's up here talking to himself about it. And then he reads a book, and he brings the book downstairs with him about 11:30 when he finally comes up.
I'll allow some of that. The only thing is, why were you carrying your silk books to go in, your silk robes to go in the sewer?
Well, I just keep them in my bag.
Okay.
I have extra change of clothes. Most of his clothes are made of silk, so...
As you're looking, Cerise, you find, you actually find some flour and oil that is usable. And T, you look down and you actually don't see anything down there. Just looking out the door through something, you hear some sounds, and when you open it with your hunter senses, you see that there's a nest just perch in some of the the wood that's holding the house up, and you see that there's some fresh bird eggs there.
You see, so is it out? It's outside, right?
Like literally just out of the door in the corner here.
All right. TeaLeaf is going to dig his claws into the wall a little bit to try to get some purchase and take, without thinking much of it.
Yeah, you wouldn't have to roll anything. You'd be able to get those eggs quite easily. You'd get about good 4 eggs, and they're good sized. You get a sense that mixing them with some flour, you'd be able to somehow whip up some, maybe bland, but some kind of pancakes, depending on what Cerise has on herself in terms of spices.
He'll scale back down the wall, quietly enter the door. Are these of any use to you? And it will offer.
No. Yes. I found some flour and oil. We could have pancakes at least, though it'd certainly be better if we had some bacon.
If you don't mind me being gone for a day, I can go shoot something.
Oh, I mean, that's not necessary. If I really wanted to, I could go to the market, but I just thought, I wouldn't want to leave and have people wondering where I went.
He remembers. I have to go get that mask anyway. I hope it's done by now.
As you're talking to Cerise and think of that, you hear a knock coming from the front door.
TeaLeaf reaches for his dagger. Stay here. He's going to vault over the bar for extra style points.
Roll a perception. As you get to the door, you recognize immediately on the other side is standing Volothamp. Next to you is a glass of something that is hovering, but it doesn't seem like it's being thrown at you. It's just hovering next to you.
Hey, it's Volo. I don't know how I don't know the man. He might be a little off-put by ghosts. I'm sorry.
Off put. Don't you think he knew exactly what he was doing sending us here?
Cerise, why don't you come over here and talk to him? Volothamp is at the door.
All right, well, if he should, we haven't even gotten to discuss it yet.
Pardon?
Decision about the house.
Oh, you're right. Leave. You... Can you put the glass down?
Another empty glass on the bar knocks down twice.
Fine. Do you think we should at least see what he wants?
Yeah, sure. So, Cerise will go open the door. Which one is exactly the front? Oh, derp. Sorry.
As you open the door, Lif will throw the content of the glass right in Volo's face, and you'll see Volo close his eyes, and he'll have a shock. And he's like, not again. Hello.
Oh,
And he's gonna wipe his eyes.
he is clearly not happy with you.
He has been doing that every night I've spent here. And all of this because I just wanted to write a book on specters.
He's rather sensitive about being a ghost, I think.
Oh, sensitive.
I mean, I can't imagine what it must be like to be a ghost and to be trying to do your life's work and to be interrupted by suddenly being incorporated. Anyway, speaking of not being happy with you, mister.
He gives you the broadest smile there is, and it looks like, you know how a kid will smile very big when they're trying to get away with something?
Mm-hmm.
Very that.
You just like to double down on the, hey, I don't have what you were really looking for, but let me try to give you this thing that's kind of weird sort of project.
Well, I just assumed as a group of adventurer who had been able to rescue my friend from the sewers, nonetheless, and a band of criminals would have no problem with a single little ghost. And then he gets another faceful, and he's gonna be wiping it off.
I think he has a problem with you, more like it.
May I come in?
Of course. And she'll step aside and let him come in.
So Volo will step in and look about. Well, you stayed the night. Nobody ran out. That's a good sign, isn't it?
That's a what?
No, he steps inside and he asks where the other ones and says that it's a good sign nobody ran out.
Well, we were tired, so we stayed here after finally coming to some sort of vague communication arrangement with Liv.
Supposing that Volotharn is still standing in front of the door, at least on the inside, Darius, who has made his way around the entire house, is going to push his way past and through.
Hello.
Enough with the yelling. I think that glass hit me harder than I thought last night.
And good morning to you too, Darius.
I think those 3 glasses of ale hit you harder than you thought.
Yeah, speaking of ale, I need another one of those.
Darius, you are not helping yourself.
Oh, hair of the dog. Have you not heard?
I don't know anything about hairy dogs. That ale was good. This pain is not. I'm hoping
Bacon
it'll
would be
dull
better.
it. They what?
Nothing staves off the effects like a big pile of bacon.
I'll keep it down a little. If you have any of this, bring it to me.
TeaLeaf
Sadly, I do
gives
not. But it is becoming more tempting by the minute to go get some.
TeaLeaf gives a kind of concerned glare towards her.
And the glass continues to hover close to Darius as he had asked. And you'll see Volotham kind of lean towards Cerise and say, "Is it me, or this one has become a little bit more bossy than last time?"
Well, as I said, we had quite an evening.
You know, there are people who would fight tooth and nails to buy a haunted mansion. Actually, if you wanted to make your money, you could probably resell it off. If you want to wait, I could do the sell-off, the auction myself as well, and see how much I get for it. And you'd get 100% of the benefits promised.
Well, we haven't had a chance to thoroughly discuss it. We were going to do so over pancakes, and I wave the eggs that are in my hand at him. But, so we still have to talk about this arrangement. Kag-Ro and Marla haven't been their rooms yet.
All right. Well, and he rummages through his bag, pulls out a piece of parchment and a quill, and then turns to Cerise after writing something and hands it to you. Meet me there if you're still interested in the place. You'll see that this is the court for the magisters, and there they will sign. Everybody who gets a part of the mansion must be there. Your signature must be authentic, verified 3 times during the signature. Should take about an hour.
Yes, I remember from renting my shop.
Ah, yes, you're familiar with the process. It's a bit lengthy, but it's worth it in the end. So here you go, and I'll see you there. If you aren't there by sundown, I'll simply assume that you are refusing the place, and then you can find me at the yawning portal.
All right, then.
Well,
Does this seem agreeable to you two? I look at T and Darius.
Maybe. Sure. I don't know.
Just a refresher. The deal is we have to make up our minds by the end of the... Or am I mishearing that?
Yes, indeed. By the end of the day, if you wouldn't mind. And then he turns around and kind of eyes the glass hovering next to Darius kind of warily, and a good day to all 3. Oh, and spots Kag-Ro, who entered the room. All 4 of you, and then walks out.
good morning to you all. It's a very nice day.
Loud.
Oh, right. You had quite a bit last night. Ah, well, I had a good sleep, a good rest. Time to take a nice long bath and ready myself and all. Is that Volotham that I just saw Crosser leaving?
Indeed, he's brought us the paperwork for the house. And I wave it at you.
Oh, yes, right. I was going to get Garth to look that over and make sure that there's not any holes in the fine print.
That's actually a really good idea. Here, and she'll hand it to you. She's got her other hand full of these bird eggs. So
What does he want exactly?
What, sorry?
What does he want exactly?
Volu Thumb.
Yes, him.
I don't know. I came in at the end of the conversation.
he was bringing us the paperwork to sign if we want to go ahead and accept payment. And we're supposed to decide before sundown and go meet him at the Magister's office for it. Or, I think he said Magister's office. Out of character. We all have to be there. Anyone who's going to have a portion of the rights to the house has to attend so that they can do all the signing of the various papers and such.
Alright, very well. I suppose. I don't suppose, Cerise, you know of any healing spells that might alleviate my pain?
You could do a medicine
See.
check.
Alright. Oof.
No, you don't really know anything outside of what you already suggested. A good greasy breakfast usually is pretty good to help with that in the morning, but otherwise you're not familiar.
Sadly, no. I'm sorry.
Well, shame, I suppose. You surface dwellers drink a lot, do you not? You sell
Some
anything
do.
that might help?
Well, there are various herbal remedies that might be helpful.
Great. And Darius is going to reach into his belt pouch he keeps on him and pull out 5 gold coins and put them on the counter. Go get one.
Oh, all right.
So is Cerise and T about to head to the market?
I guess so.
Yep. Gotta pick up that niqab.
Kag-Ro is going to see if there was a person that could deliver a message to Garth for him.
You'd easily be able to hire a raven at this time. There wouldn't be any problem. So all 3 of you would be able to head to the market while Darius probably tries to overcome this headache. Cerise, you're able to go and get ingredients either from the market or you can also pick them up at your pie shop and bring them here instead. T, your piece is indeed ready. And as I said, Kag-Ro, you can get a raven. By the time you'd return, Marla would at this point be up.
Hold on, I'm stuck.
So
We'll get you set up in no time, Dar. She will have brought some bacon and some oranges that she will squeeze.
Has he drunk any water since he woke up?
What? No. Why? How would that help?
Well, water tends to be nice for a body. And
It's
your
quite-
body, especially, like...
Yes, maybe I should run another bath.
Do you absorb it through your skin?
No, that's ridiculous.
Oh. Well, then, yeah, you probably should also drink some.
I can drink it while I'm in the bath.
Oh. You drink the bath water that you're sitting in, or?
Do you not?
Not usually. She's gonna kind of look over at Marla.
No.
Well, saves time, I think. It's not really something one has to think of very much where I'm from.
Here, try this. And she'll pass him a glass where she squeezed the orange into one of the glasses.
This will cure it.
It helps.
He'll chug the whole glass down.
Well, it wouldn't be instant.
What is that exactly?
Orange juice?
Yes, I could see that. But what is it?
It is. That's what it's called. It's orange juice.
Keep your secrets then.
She's gonna look at
It's
Marla
the
helplessly
juice.
again.
It's the juice of an orange.
Cerise picks up an unsqueezed orange, points to it with the hand that's not holding it, and says, "Orange."
Yes, it is.
And she'll point to the glass that the juice was in and say, "Juice from the orange."
Ah, I see. Well,
It's a fruit.
that's all you had to say.
I'm going to go make this bacon now. And she'll trot back through the pantry into the kitchen.
Yes,
Did I
do.
hear bacon? Do make enough for Goth too, would you?
Is your manager coming?
Yes, he reviews all of my legal documentation to make sure that there's no tricks or fine print that might be used to abuse anything. I wouldn't want anything to do, like signing up for a match and just to find out that I also required that I be, shaved and stripped or something ridiculous like that. Or perhaps something that could put me in indentured servitude for the rest of the time. Else, there's slavery in the countryside, and be careful with such things.
Do people often try and slip such conditions in?
You would be surprised at how many people like to add small print to abuse or give themselves an advantage for those who do not look over their contracts. I knew a fellow once who entered into a contract to do a fight, at least he thought he did. But it turns out that he actually said that he was disowning everything that he had, and giving his family to the man as indentured servitude.
That's dreadful. And they allow that here.
Well, they don't allow it, but legal contracts have their purposes. It's very hard to fight legalities when you're in the city such like this. Magistrates and all that. I prefer just to avoid it altogether. Hence why I call Garth. He's much better at legalese than I am.
Well, I suppose there's quite a bit of danger in accepting something one hasn't read. It's good you have someone to do it for us.
So you're all able to have some little chit chat here and there while Cerise prepares a pretty good breakfast. It takes a little while, not an hour, but maybe half of that. And then you hear a knock once again on the front door, just as it's about to get ready.
I'm going to guess that would be Garth. He's going to open the door.
And yes, so as you open the door, you'll see the very familiar sight of your manager. So Garth is there showing up with his curly hair and dressed in very vibrant colors of purples and blues, with some gold lining into that, and he'll be looking at you. Ah, yeah. Kag-Ro. What can I do ya for?
Well, I was thinking about investing in real estate. This place doesn't actually cost me anything, but I would like to make sure that there isn't any problems with the contract. You remember my friends? And he opens a door and lets him in, motioning to the others who are in the room.
Darius will raise his glass of orange juice to Garth. Ah, you again, comrade.
If it's not the newbie, the one who could try out for the field. How ya been?
For the most part, I've been holding up well enough, though I've been stricken with a terrible headache today. Would you care for some of this juice that is orange?
Yeah, no. Do you have some rum, perhaps?
I don't have rum. Liff, do you have rum? And he sort of speaks to nobody.
A glass pounds on the counter twice, but because of where Marla and Darius are, Garth doesn't seem to notice that it did so on its own.
No rum.
Yes, he doesn't have rum. Was there something else you might get? He's got some pretty decent spiced ale.
Nah. I'm just here on business, and wanted to check with you, make sure everything was still good and running for the end of this 10-day,
Well, the plan is still the same. I was going to share it with my friends at some point, but right now, come and look at this contract.
What? Kag-Ro outside, word.
No, you don't need to do that.
He will give you, like, the most theatrical, like, threatening eyes you can imagine, like when one big open while the other one's like twitching really nervously, and he's kind of chewing on his bottom lip, trying to intimidate you in this, but I'm not even going to bother rolling it.
I wouldn't worry about that. It came that it was necessary that I speak to my friends about it. Unfortunately, there were casualties. Did I tell you I murdered someone? Actually, it's quite a few someones at this point.
What?
Well, the guard said it was in self-defense, but it's okay. Come inside, I'll share the rest. And he sort of grabs him by the arm and just like pulls him inside and pushes him towards the tables.
He'll roll his eyes up. Ro, people die all the time. If you had to pound a few by that, that's actually good publicity. But that's not murder. Nobody calls that murder.
Well, yes, I killed someone, and they were fighting me, and they are dead, so that's murder.
No, it's not.
It's only murder if you meant to.
Well, I meant to kill the big demon monster.
Yes, but it's not murder if you're killing a demon monster.
Well, then what about the bird monsters?
I still don't know what those
Monster
were.
killing is not murder. It's monster killing.
Heroic.
Oh, believe what you will, it's murder nonetheless.
Exactly.
Murder is all dependent on who you're killing.
Ethics, the shady moral guy. Or me, who helped you kill the monster.
That's because you are a murderer too.
You see Garth.
Not a murderer.
You'll see Garth's mouth shady. What?
Can Cerise hear any of this, or is it too far?
You would not necessarily hear the details of the conversation. You'd catch like the louder words that come out of the conversation, so you just get bribes. May even be worse out of context.
A lot of murderer. Cerise is gonna walk back into the bar area with a spatula in her hand and be like, "What's going?"
We're discussing the ethics of murdering monsters.
Oh, is Kag-Ro on about that again? It was self-defense. He tried to murder you first. He tried to murder all of us.
See?
She gestures with her spatula.
Well, anyway, that's not why we're here. Believe that what you will, but yes, that's not why we're here. It's just to look over this contract. I have the contract, right?
You do.
So he hands it over to Garth and sort of pulls him up a seat.
Where did this contract come from?
This is the deed.
Bolo brought it by.
Oh, we should definitely not trust what's in that thing.
So Garth will sit with you, and you'll see him pull out these very round spectacles and put them over his face, and you'll see him kind of lean over about 6 inches from the paper, and he's just gonna be like, yeah, and turns the page. Everything seems in order, actually. Can't believe you're getting this place for free. See, most people, even though it's kind of not pretty, it's pretty big. You've got yourselves a tap room? That's pretty nice. The sharing piece might come to a bit of a problem. That's a contract you might have amongst yourselves. See what happens if there's damage, who pays for what. And that's not in there. But from the handoff, everything is pretty clear cut.
Well then,
It's haunted.
Well, at this point, that might be a bit of a bonus, really.
Liff is not dangerous as far as I can tell. He's just wants to do his job. You know what it's like to just want to do your job, yes?
Not really.
There is no sound.
What is your job?
I'm a merchant.
Wait. Haunted? What is this about?
Oh, there's a ghost here. His name is Liff. He made ales and brewery and other such things. He has some wine he's a bit sensitive about, but aside from that, he's mostly friendly, aside from the few glasses he threw at Darius and Marla.
So the contract does mention it being haunted? That's awesome.
No. I think somebody just said it's haunted.
I did. Or, no, wait. Marla did, then I commented on
I
it.
did.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, no, it's not in the contract, but it's still the handoff with everything in it. And as you're all talking about it being haunted, you'll see that Garth stands up and will press the contract on Kag-Ro's chest and be like, yeah, no, everything's in order. Just remembered I have another interview to go to, so see you around, Ro.
It's nice, haunted.
Have a good time. If you mention it, just say that we have an invisible bartender. It'll bring business.
Of course, of course, of course. And on that, he steps out and closes the door behind, and you can see him fast walk away from the house.
Goodbye again, Kag-Ro's manager.
Well, Garth says that the contract is fine, so if you're interested, I am willing to throw my hat in on this. I mean, we did sort of agree with Liff that we would try to run and clean up the place for him.
Seems like a lot of work, but this house is twice, maybe 3 times the size of mine. It's, I mean...
And it has its own tap room. And
Well,
go ahead.
well, it's certainly no Triton house, but it's one of the nicest I've seen on the surface, aside from all the dust and broken windows.
I think about now is when Cerise comes out with like the pancakes and the bacon, and she's like, "Oh, where did your friend?"
He was unsettled about the fact that this place is haunted. He just didn't even get a chance to meet Liff before he ran away, but he says the contract is good. Everything here in the paperwork is settled. Pretty standard. Nothing hidden in the words.
Oh, well, that's good. Well, here's breakfast. And she'll set the stuff down on the counter. Was she able to find like plates and stuff like that? I meant.
Yes, that you'd be able to find. You would have had to kind of at least dust them off.
Yeah, makes sense.
Marvelous. So, what's a bacon?
The meat
Try
of a
it.
pig.
He sort of nods at that and tries to see what on the plate looks most meat-like.
It's salted and smoked and then fried, which are 3 of the best things you can do to anything.
Yes, I recognize most of this.
Especially if the Reese does
after
it.
drinking that much.
Well, if it'll cure it, I'll try anything.
Yes, I do find that heavy meals are quite useful if I drink too much, though I only had 2, so I wasn't too terribly bad myself. But I'll take a plate, and he fills himself up 2 plates, if there's enough.
She's a halfling. She wasn't stingy.
TeaLeaf will also take a plate.
Like, if a halfling is feeding 4 people, there's probably enough food there for 8 people.
So everybody's able to enjoy a good breakfast and then have a nice discussion about the final decision of this and whether or not you're accepting this as payment. So what is the consensus?
Well, I say we keep it. After all, it's got a nice amount of rooms for us to stay in that are far less prone to ogre attack, or troll attack, that is. It has all the amenities we might need, and then some.
And running water at that.
Indeed. And
could
it has
fix
a friendly
the
bartender.
kitchen. You could fix the kitchen and sell your pies out of here. It could be great.
I agree. If we fix this place up, it could really be something. It would certainly be a good source of income on the side, at very least. And a safe place to stay.
Yes, it beats the fees to start having to rent a room at the Yawning Portal all the time. Usually I get discounts, but every time a bigger celebrity than I, such as Volothep, comes in, my costs go broadly up, so being that there are no costs here, I think that it is a great place to stay, and to be honest, I've never really lived in anything much larger than a single room, and that room up there is far bigger than anything I've ever had. And it has a private bathroom.
I'm
It
interested
had
for.
another door.
I didn't actually catch what you said, Marla.
Oh, the master bedroom, the bathroom has another door to the hallway.
Yes, it does.
Oh, it does. Wow.
I noticed that. I thought it was funny that Darius went to the other one when this one room has external access.
I didn't even notice it.
Well, you have the excuse that you don't know the place yet. I added in chat that if you were to ponder and kind of look the place around, you'd estimate easily that it would be, with how it is in Waterdeep, about 1,200 gold to completely fix the place to its optimum area. It doesn't have to be all at once, because the place would be usable as is. Cleaning wouldn't cost anything. It's something you do yourself. But if you wanted to fix the various things, that's about how much it would cost you to make it usable for the tap room and to make it nice again, to have its bare areas. That's not including any additional decor or furniture you'd want to add. That's all extra that you'd have to bring all on your own to furnish the place. But this would fix all of the furniture that's broken, the balconies, the roofing, the windows would be the biggest cost. That's about 600 gold all on its own just for the windows. The rest is just little by little. And you could always do that incrementally as you go on. But you also know that if you were to take this place as the new area, that Cerise was promised a good amount for her pie shop as well. And there's a chance that T could get some money for his place if he were to give it up, unless he wants to keep it as a second area.
Hard question.
I am curious about the Fredward labor question. Use halfling labor. Does it cost less?
Costs
Only
half as much.
Fredward's labor. Fredward is my cousin, who is Cerise finds quite attractive.
It's because he's tall.
He's 3.5 feet.
He's close to 4 feet, actually.
Oh my.
I imagine him as like this smug blonde halfling, and I don't know why.
So everyone agrees that the place is taken.
I believe so. Though how we're going to clean it up seems to be.
So we'll have it that you all reach and meet with Volo at the Magisters, and you end up in what may be one of the most boring hours of your life. Cerise has gone through this before when she got her pie shop. Anything of that kind of legality is very dull, as you have an old magister there that's kind of reading through all the little legal terms that can be, including every little pieces, making sure that there hasn't been any loopholes in the sense that the place is not infested by rats, the foundation is still good, the frame is still valid, and you're all in agreement for this, and that with this, then Volo's debt would not be something you would pursue later. But the deed is irrevocably yours. If it were to be discovered that Volo had kept a spare key from you, he would be facing some very severe legal action on that. So you have all the keys to the place handed to you, so there's no additional access. And the place is then yours. Your 5 names are on it. The place is equally yours. It can only be sold if all 5 of you are in agreement. Because it settled a debt of 500 gold, you would be able to sell to the others, should they agree, your piece for 100 gold each. So, for example, if, say, I'll just say Kag-Ro, because you're the first in my line, you wanted to sell, then T, Cerise, Darius, and Marla could come up with 100 gold paid to you, and then they would have the house to the 4 of them, and you would no longer have any rights to it. Well, that's kind of something that can be arranged. Any other arrangement is completely up to you, so you have to do that internally. You can't do legal action to say, oh, well, I wanted that room, or we should have had the blue couch instead of the purple couch. No legal action goes there. So they go through all of that. And then you get to go home, and you have this. You'll be able to decide within the week what it is you do with your current settlement. You'd be able to, for those of you who have inns, to stop renting, but you may have chests there with some goods inside that you want to bring over. So you'd be able to take some time to carry it on. And on that, as you have acquired the tap room, I will end tonight's session. And I will keep a section open for discussion in the Discord for what you want to do in the downtime with this place to decorate it, fix it up to your liking. I can also link you with the map of this place so that you kind of have a reminder of what it's like.
Right, wonderful.
Indeed.
I think that went pretty well. Better than I expected even.
Yes, nobody tried to kill us, just throw glasses at us.
Right.
And only for insulting his wine.